Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 192 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Now that we've got the walls upgraded with turrets, we can work on the walls themselves, because these doors are kind of in random spots. Plus, if I recall, we actually researched better walls. And it looks like we did. Spiked walls that do damage back. That seems good. Well, let's go through the weapon tree here and see if there's anything else we could make. Well, definitely the better ammo we need to work on, which is going to be probably after the wall here. Radars to some extent, but we just don't make many radars right now, but we probably should put them on the bus just so I don't have to handcraft them anymore. And I think I chose not to do the reinforced concrete wall because it was kind of broken in the amount of health that it had. I guess we could double check that real quick. Where we can have the spiked wall, the concrete wall, and the reinforced one. So the regular walls we have now probably break pretty quick. And reasonably so. Oh yeah. Those ones are just way stronger. But those seem like a worthy upgrade as well. Well, might as well break them. The rifle's much faster. But whatever, we can make the spiked steel walls, and I guess the reinforced concrete gates, since they're the strongest gates at this point. And then we could either have bots upgrade this or do it ourselves. We'll have to see how quickly it goes. I'm not sure that if you replace the walls if the biters can walk through, because I think if you disassemble them or mark them for deletion, they will have gaps in them, which would be not great. So we're going to want to make some radars, which probably go into each other by one machine. Seems like they produce these very quickly, so efficiency modules will be fine. And then kind of a lot of random stuff goes into these. But it looks like it might be a lot of direct insertion here. Guess it depends. That quantity of plate is pretty ridiculous though. Especially when we put the efficiency modules in there. So I kind of feel like I don't want to bother with that. And just do something like this. It will not produce radars very fast, but it's not like we need them very fast anyway. So that should probably be fine. And then this one is going to need the steel gear wheels, which can do efficiencies, and of course, the steel itself as well, which goes into both machines, and aluminum on one side, and the gear wheels on the other. So another reason why I want to do direct insertion and not worry about speed too much is just to make this as painless as possible, and that is fairly painless. And then let's do our spiked walls. Let's just see what one machine will do here. It might work. Then the regular concrete wall goes in. And then the stone wall. Well, we certainly can't keep up with that quantity of concrete. So something like that might work a little better. And let's just see what this does. And you probably don't even really need that. I mean, we need a lot of walls when we need them, but we don't really expand that often. So having machine run really slowly and having all efficiencies in there ought to be just fine. And we need our gates. We'll see what this looks like. Also fairly slow, but fairly uneventful. Hopefully lots of straight lines here. So let's see what we can do. Well, we're going to have the three machines going into each other, and there needs to be gaps in there for the storage chests. So the first one gets an input of the iron. The second one needs steel. We can do steel here, and then it direct inserts into this one to make the gears, although I think we're already making the gears. So I don't even have to really worry about that. Yeah, so we can just kind of cut those out. Then this one right here, we'll chop up the aluminum. And then all the resources are fairly similar to all of this, so it can kind of just be a straight line, but it might change the ratios a little bit if we don't need these things making the gears. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it kind of does. Well, kind of, but not really. Because this machine is still limited, so it probably doesn't really matter. But the circuits can come in there. How about let's do the gears in this one. And then like the bearings and the motors, which should go in right there, I believe. I think that's most of it. Well, let's pick it up and slice it in here. And that should be all the resources. And we probably wanted efficiencies there, but we definitely want productivities in here. Okay, why isn't it gone? Ah, no stone bricks. I guess we can go directly into it here. Probably doesn't need very many of them, so that should be enough. Seems like it's going pretty good, although it looks like it's catching up a tiny bit on these machines here. But they should be basically running at full power. These will not produce very quickly. And this needs to be extended down to here. Okay, now we're getting some radars. Probably could work on our inventory a bit. Since it's getting fairly complicated, we may want to not necessarily have it cover every single use case, because otherwise this list is going to get very long. So instead of it getting rid of every single undesirable resource, maybe we should just leave it to ourselves to notice, hey, we have something we don't want. And then if that's the case, you can kind of just shift click it and then make it go away. So it's a little manual, but the main thing we have to worry about our inventory getting filled with are things that are on buses when we're constantly placing belts down and whatnot. And of course, any items that we want to be actually regularly delivered to our inventory. So one easy way to save a lot of space is just get rid of previous tiers of things that we really aren't going to deal with very often. And if we do, we can take care of that when the time comes. See, all these zeros can kind of be pulled out just to try to clean this list up a little bit. I think I'll leave it like that for now. But we can come in here and ask for some radars, because why not? I don't think we'd ever actually have a need for more than 50 of them. Okay, we've got some walls here. I think those all basically just get efficiencies, but one making stone walls, going into concrete, going into the spiked, and then that's when we need our steel machine right there. So stone wall, concrete, and spiked. I kind of want to just copy this, because it's basically going to be the same. Let's see, how does the bot network doing? It's okay, but probably should try to extend it a little bit. So stone will reach that one. I guess we could just do stone and concrete here, and then this one can go straight down to steel. And get this in there. 2 spaces. And and see how it works. Well, based on these quantities, we probably need a red right there. And because these are walls, we probably want a lot more than 50. So let's go with 500, except we don't need any of the lesser walls to that quantity, just the good ones. And these gates. Probably something like this. With stone going into one, and circuits going into the other. So, pretty straightforward there. I don't think we've ever really made that type of wall, so we probably don't need to worry about having somewhere to dump it if it gets in our inventory. We'll just say, this is the reinforced gates. Although 500 gates is probably a lot. So let's go with 100. Yep, moving pretty slow, but making the gates like we need them. Yeah, for simplicity's sake, I'll set this up to 500 just because I kind of want to do these upgrades by hand. Because I'm just worried that if we deconstruct them, the biters will be able to run through. And it is nighttime. So if you come through here and deconstruct them, yeah, it makes a gap. So if we can walk through it... Uh-oh. That's problematic. There you go. Because if we can walk through it, then so too can the biters. Let's see, the fastest way is probably... Well, if my inventory was set up properly. I guess for now, I'll do a junk spot for the concrete walls. That'll just let us kind of drag and drop them like this. And the robots will come in and get rid of the remainder. These bots seem like they're kind of getting perpetually stuck there. Where they're like coming down here, yeah, and then turning around. So perhaps we need a charge point right here. Of course, then they're going to keep going, but hopefully they don't turn around again. So let's copy a charge point. Let's just fly down there. It looks really funny. They're just flying back and forth, back and forth. Probably like right there. But there we go. Looks like they're starting to use it now. So now the question is, where do they get stuck next? Well, because that's just kind of a really tough spot for them to go. Actually, we can do something about that now that we can fly. We can make an artificial island out here. Right where they'd rather have it. The electric poles will reach. Because I don't think we can place the zone expanders on the water like we can the poles there. That would be cool if we could, though. Doesn't look like it. I can't see. But can we make a little square of land? Yep. guess eventually this would all be filled in, but it's quite a bit of landfill at this point. Here, let's go this way instead. There we go, that extends the network, so now, well, if we had a radar, they should be choosing to charge here. And it looks like they are. That's a difficult spot to have a radar in, though. But should be able to put one right around here somewhere to get it all covered. Most of it, anyway. And they are choosing to use that charge pad. And now they're kind of running out on their way over here. But at least they'll make it now. Just slowly. Although it might help them to have one right on the end there. Yeah, they're flying around here, so if we put this right on the end here, that should help them. And they're running out of power a little short. But they'll get there. And then they should be able to make the rest of the gap to drop items off here. And speaking of that setup, it looks like all of the orbs got moved around to their proper location. So we can hook this part up again. And let it go through. If it needs to, of course, it's going to be very full of items. I set that up to require at least the power be down to half before it starts burning those. And then a quarter to start burning the wood blocks. And these ones just burn all of the time because we're producing a whole bunch of it. That should be one wall down. Is there any other research we can do in the meantime? Yeah, there was this character research. It's going to take quite a while, and a lot of this stuff kind of takes quite a while, but it's also a lot to go through. We haven't really had a serious look at all of the blue science that we can unlock, because we've just had other things to do. So kind of my goal here is just to kind of catch up, to build all of the things that we've already researched, just so we don't get lost in the stream of research. So since we research these walls and also better ammo, we should probably build that before we get involved in something else, is kind of my concept here of what I'm trying to do. Besides, the wall was overdue for getting a nice makeover. So we'll just do that, of course. There's no space. If we can get rid of that one transport drone. So that should help. Just drag over everything to begin with. Then when you run out, go back to the beginning. Put the gates in. That way we make sure there's no holes for the biters just to sneak in while the construction's happening. And I guess I could like built a second wall in front of the first one, but I kind of want it to be in the exact same spot. So I kind of want to do it in place like this. Looks like nickel's gone down pretty substantially to 18k, so it's probably fairly close to the point which it's being normally limited, which would be by these machines here. But it looks like they haven't started running quite yet, so we're not all the way down to that point. But probably getting pretty close. And that's one more wall down. They can kind of walk through there a little bit, but shh, don't tell them. It looks like the ammo cut up on this side as well. So we can probably grab all of that. And it fills up our junk inventory. And yeah, those turrets are not gathering everything. Although I know that they can't specifically gather the big orbs, but they're not gathering these little ones either, which is weird. Well, I'll let that go for a while. Yeah, see, they're leaving them. Maybe a future update will make them work better. Because they're not, like, full of resources or anything. And let's see, we've got a lot of orbs in here. And robots are on the way. They're just taking a while to get there. And here they come to help. Try to do the same thing here, but I think I'm gonna make a mess of my inventory. Yep. Well, we can put some junk in there. Since we're gonna move the position of all those gates, we can just kind of run straight down here. It looks like we've got 3 squares extending beyond the wall here. So we definitely need to get that in here. We do need to select the floor here. We'll just do this without the gate. The poles can help align this. And we should probably get rid of these too. Something like this. Because I don't want to place every single one of these by hand. And bots are a little slow when it comes to placing concrete, but they'll get the job done. I don't think we have hazard concrete on the bus. And I also kind of don't feel like making it right now. So instead I'll just put it in a storage chest. And let the bots figure it out. Because now, when you do that, we have a blueprint to kind of follow. I can't really cut down that tree without hitting stuff. Well, I suppose I can do this. There we go. But we have a blueprint to follow to put these gates down on the right spots. Now that we've placed all those, we have an idea of how much we need to put in the network. Roughly 1,000. And actually we have enough already. So I kind of just want to dump that hazard concrete in and let the bots go from there. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of shells. Well, let's finish up with what we're working on, then we can try to clean that up a bit. But if you put that hazard concrete in there, all of the construction bots should come by and start building. Yeah, they are definitely not picking up any of those orbs now. The construction bots are on the way. It's just a lot of work for them to do. But they're getting started on it. And we don't have the shell picker upper right here, but it doesn't look like we need it. Unknown key. I wonder if that's part of it. I might just need to update the mod here, but I'll go through one more time, picking up all these things to reset them, because I want my walls clean. It seems like the bots have a long way to go. There might be a lot more than 600 that need to be placed. It's just stating that as it goes through the rounds. So probably should just put it on the bus, I guess, just to give the robots access to it. Wonder if there's an easy place to do it somewhere. Kind of. Let's see, we can do something like this. Oh yeah, we need to do refined concrete too. But we still haven't even covered the base with regular concrete yet, so we probably don't want to bother with refined concrete since that's going to take even more resources. Though we can do like efficiencies in there. Send this down. And set that to like 1,000. And the bots are definitely coming here to grab it, so I guess we didn't put enough in to begin with. I wonder how we're doing on piercing ammo. Have we gone through the rest of it that was being stored on the bus? The old bus, anyway. Yeah, it looks like it. So we are out of it now. Which means over time we will run out. Now we have so much copper ammo here. But I'm not sure copper ammo actually goes into anything. Okay. It does go into conversion ammo. And it can be built into piercing rounds with even more steel. Well, again, I'm not sure how much that's actually going to matter, because I have the feeling that the new ammo we can make is going to be much better. But let's see here. What we can build here will have a capacity of 25 shots, which is 2.5 times more than these other ones. And it will do 16 damage a shot compared to 10 with these other ones. So I don't see much use in keeping them around. I mean, we could for material reasons eventually grind through it all, but how important is that really at this point? And looks like it's actually hasn't quite completely drained out yet. There's still a few remainders in here. Well, but I guess it has, though, because that belt only goes to here, so yeah. It looks like we're basically out. Oh yeah, it's actually getting kind of low here, too. Well, that's fine for now. I guess we have the copper ammo available if we just completely run out. But otherwise, we probably should get started on that new ammo. Because, surprisingly, you do go through a bunch of ammo. Over time, anyway. And there we go. That wall should be upgraded. And we probably can just dump all these extras now in our junk inventory. And the robot should pick them up and put them where they need to go. Well, this certainly makes placing concrete faster. Just gotta make sure you're perfectly straight. And then go for it. One thing it might be kind of nice to have is we can add to this circuit HUD the conditions of our stone and also our acids. Although I don't know if I want to have the gems on there, since they're normally not even stored. So it's kind of a lot of junk information flashing if we looked at that. So which one is circuit HUD? There's so many combinators now. Let's see, we can do the HUD combinator. And let's see if we can do a decider and an arithmetic as well. Let's see, which gem? I think we're using the blue ones. Or let's say if this is more than... Probably is not going to take much, but let's say 100. Output. Let's say 1 geode. Or how about... Let's just do green square right there. And then this one's input. It's also the geodes, but it's multiplied by green square, and the output will be geodes again. The idea is that normally this green signal is 0, so it multiplies by 0, and the signal won't get sent through. So is that how this works? Well, we attach it, and there is no output, which means it seems like it's working. And let's do some more arithmetics in here, because we want to also remove the other signals. And in fact, really, the only thing we really want on here is stone and slag. Because everything else is kind of produced... Let's see, let's put them right here. In other methods. So we can just say slag times 1, and then the output is also slag. And this one can be the crushed stone. And that's just going to pull the signals we want to get out of here. And then we have the circuit HUD that gets all of those inputs. And looks like we need to modify this to make it bigger. Let's just do that for now. We should call this something about stone byproducts. Although it looks like they have some kind of signal filtering, so perhaps all of that wasn't necessary. But, oh well. We've got our stone. And I also kind of want to follow all of the acids. And, let's see, is this working like it should? Because we've got some full belts of acid here. Yes, because that is going to drones, so that's working correctly. The circuit HUD's in the way now. So there's our acid products. It's technically not all of them, because the other ones are being stored up here, but they seem to be working correctly, so I'm not too worried about those. So for here we'll do, I guess just put it like right here. Another nav HUD combinator, and just send it in here. Call this acid byproducts. Just so we can watch them if we need to. It's kind of interesting how it creates its own shape rather than being based on what you have, because then when you do this, it like makes it smaller. So that's kind of weird how that works. But I don't want it to be too large. That way we can kind of look at things if we need to. Hopefully it doesn't take up too much space. It kind of does though. Well, it seems like actually that mostly fits on something that doesn't have a really long description. It does seem to be enough. But we'll play it by ear there. Maybe find somewhere else for it to go. Okay. More character stuff is done. And I think that's it for the really long researches. For the rest of these things, we'll probably just want to kind of go through and check everything one at a time and see what we want next. But for now, we need to make some ammo. Well, one other thing we can take a look at is this giant mess. So do cannon shells go into anything? Well, those cannon shells do, but cannon turret shells do not. So it's kind of a junk item. So the question is, can we get rid of it? Oh, we can. I was not expecting that, because that other ammo couldn't be deconstructed. The copper ammo, I think. Well, that's nice. We probably should put a bunch of speed modules in here. And there's probably a bunch of junk in here that we could start sorting through, but let's see, definitely gates. And definitely wooden chests. We might want these transport drones for things. As far as the rest of this stuff, I think it's kind of random things that are not quite on a network yet. And that's basically okay, although copper plates have to be used here somewhere. That would be kind of shocking if they weren't. Well, we could put something here. Although, I don't know how many heat pipes we're actually going to be making. So if we put copper in there, it might take a long time for it to get used. But, I don't know, solar panels probably are not that much better of a spot, so then when we pick that up, we turn on logistics. There we go. We're going to have all manners of things in here. Let's see. Coal should be on here. It's something we don't want to have. And we can just toss anything else in here. That's just kind of filling up our inventory right now. And let it get slowly processed. Like, basically what I'm doing is I'm just looking for... Do we have any huge amount of items that are sitting in this storage warehouse? And if so, we should probably find something to do with it. And it looks like we're starting to get to that point with the coal there, but we're not quite at that point yet. Well, I want to go down and get those copper magazines, just in case we can actually convert that back. I think we already checked and we couldn't, but you never know. Something might have gotten updated. Let's see, this probably doesn't even really need to be here anymore, but... Man, that is so much ammo. But Reverse Factory 3 is the best one we have. And it does not do the copper ammo. So, it might be a mistake to destroy all this, but I also kind of don't want to deal with it, so... It's gone. Another thing we can do to kind of clean up our inventory is just get rid of a lot of these intermediates, because we very rarely need to use them anymore. And if we do, we can just use some of these base plates to make something. It'll take longer, but since we don't use things very often anymore, we're basically deliver them by bots most of the time. It's kind of a waste to be using up slots for all of these things. So motors we can make by hand if we need to. Same with engines as well, but we probably want to keep the big electric motors because those require lubricant, so we won't be able to just make those if we need them. And I would say the same for all these gears. They're just taking up space. And same with bearings. Because the bots are doing a pretty good job about keeping our inventory clean, so we don't need to be bringing all those around. Circuit boards, though, are a little more complicated. Since we don't normally carry the resources for it, and some of these better versions can't be manufactured by hand anyway, so we probably should carry those around with us. We do end up using a lot of these robot charge ports and robo chests, so we probably want to keep those. It would be nice to have some brass chests, I guess, because we are kind of handcrafting them a little bit. Oh yeah, we do need these fast loaders too, but I think our inventory is pretty clean for now. And that's the end of this episode. On the next one, we're going to work on making better ammo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.